What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about pre-front type of conditions, right? So storms rolling in. This particular day we had storms kind of going in and out, so we were kind of in a pre-front, post-front type of condition, right? So things can get pretty tricky when you're trying to target bass in those types of conditions. Normally they're going to do one of two things, right? So they're going to move deep or they're going to move in shallow, hug tight to cover. But they do get pretty lethargic, right? They don't always come charging out. They're not as aggressive as they normally are. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about during this video is kind of a finesse type of a tactic, right? So what we were using that day was it's a Lucky Strike, Lucky Twitch fluke style bait, right? It's a big one, 6-inch. This is the Chris Lane Signature Series, live motion. You can get them through TNO Fishing or whatever, one of my partners, but this is the one I chose that day because I felt like I could work it slow enough to keep it in front of them long enough and make it an easy enough target for them to pop out of hiding and eat it. So that's kind of what we're talking about. You know, it can get tough, like I said, when a storm's rolling in or on you, to get those bites. And oftentimes they'll tell you a finesse type of a tactic will work a little bit better than burning crankbaits and spinnerbaits. We do a little bit of that, and I'll show you some of that in a later video where we kind of go over like some spinnerbaits, crankbaits. I use the Senko a little bit just to show you there are a bunch of different ways you can catch them during a frontal situation like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you learned something. If there's anything I left out or forgot to talk about, drop it down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to listen to any of your suggestions, and maybe, who knows, maybe one of these days coming up, I'll put one of those tactics to use. Also, if you got any more ideas for videos, feel free to drop those also in the comments, and we'll see if we can't put this stuff together. I appreciate your time, guys. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the video. We're fishing kind of front conditions, storms, all that stuff. It's supposed to brighten up a little bit, and it's actually pretty calm back here, believe it or not, because out on the lake it's pretty terrible. But I didn't plan on this, but we're going to use primarily stuff from TNO Fishing, brands like Lucky Strike, Renowski, and we're going to kind of show you some ways that you can catch fish in these type of conditions that are going to be tough. And show you that you can still be successful even with and show you that you can still be successful even with tougher conditions, right? So when you're dealing with these kind of fronts, so we got storms, rained really hard not too long ago, you can still catch fish. They go one of two areas. So they'll go deep, or they're going to hug really tight to some of this cover. And so that's kind of what we're going to focus around. You can catch them on a variety of stuff, but they always tell you, you know, the finesse style baits are probably going to do a little bit better in these type of situations. And most of the time that's correct. You will do a little bit better finessing them. But I'm going to show you that you can still catch them on spinner baits. You can still catch them on shallow crankbaits, square bills. We're going to do some finesse stuff with a wacky rig. And hopefully we'll put some fish in the boat. So come along for the ride, guys. We're going to see if we can't get a few. You're going to be able to catch them a variety of ways, and as long as you're patient and smart about it, you'll figure it out. So we're going to start off by trying to target some bigger ones real close to the cover, and specifically we're going to try and target some post spawners, some fry garters that are out here trying to protect the hatch. Looks like we're going to get missed by that rain, which is really good news. What I'm using here is a Lucky Twitch, made by, well, Lucky Strike. It's a 6-inch fluke style bait. Got a little bit of weight to it, so it'll get down just a little bit. Got it, just your standard Texas rig, got an extra wide gap hook. And we're just going to toss it into this close cover, let it sink down a little bit. See if we can't find a couple of big ones just sitting up in here, hiding out. It's nice to see that range gonna just kind of go. Basically, it's just a mix of wounded bait fish, and it should be, you know, an easy meal. Especially post front, they're gonna be pretty sluggish. They're not gonna really want to chase. They're not going to really be roaming too far either, so the deeper you can get it into some of this stuff, the better. The better chance you have of getting one to come out and eat it. Watch your line too. Oftentimes you're not going to feel the bite, they're going to grab it and swim at you. And all you'll see is your line twitch a little bit. Came up and hit it on top. Not a big one, but that's how it is. Just those little twitches, guys, will get it done. Little guy, but very cool to watch him come up and eat it. You know, this don't be afraid to throw big stuff. You'll catch because if you're afraid you're not going to catch fish because you're throwing something that's too big. Not the case, guys. Little fish will eat this stuff too, so if you want to have fun, you can have just as much fun throwing something big as you do something small. So don't be afraid. Done. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully you can put some of that stuff to use and make yourself a more productive fisherman when you're out on the water. I said a couple of weeks ago that I was going to make a big announcement, so I figured I'd throw that on the end of this video. You know, competitive bass fishing is a huge passion of mine. I have found myself growing more and more this year than any other year that I've fished. I've gotten smarter. I've fished better, more consistently. And I really feel like I'm turning the corner on something pretty cool. But, as with all good things, sometimes they come to an end. And that's what I'm going to tell you now. You know, it's tough trying to balance specifically work and home life with competitive fishing. And when you have a job that you rely on to provide for your family, and certain aspects of that suffer because of the time you spend away, the time that you don't get with your family suffers because of the time that you're away. You know, competitive fishing and preparing for a tournament it's excruciating with all the practice, the research, the time spent on the water, the days of the tournament. A lot goes into preparing for a single event. And, you know, my wife will tell you that I'm the type of guy that goes, it's either all of it or none of it. And so taking on 13 to 16, 17 tournaments a year isn't just wearing on my job and my family, but it's wearing on me. I'm exhausted 90% of the time. You know, I work a full-time job as a GM at an electronics store. I fish full-time tournaments during the summer. I do YouTube recording constantly whenever I can, editing. You know, there's most nights where I don't even climb in bed until 1:30 in the morning, and I got to be up at 5 to go to work. So after this year, well, partially this year, I am going to withdraw from most of the events that I have left on the schedule. I am going to finish out the Northwest tour because I had paid for those events and I do not want to throw that money away. I still have a shot at Angler of the Year, slim, but I still have a shot at it. And I don't want to give that up this year. So I've got 3 events left. And so I will, first of all, apologize to Charlie Bridges and Chad Larson. I had fully intended on fishing the entire circuit this year. I just can't do it. I'm too tired. I'm too exhausted. Getting the time off of work is becoming more and more painful for those guys that work for me, right? I have responsibilities to those guys to be there too. And when I put too much stress on those guys, it's not good for the business. So I will officially step away from competitive fishing next year. I will still fish a few opens. I'm not going to completely give it up because I can't do that. That competition fuels me, and I need that, right? But I can't do it at the expense of everything else. So to the Northwest Bass crew, you guys, I firmly believe, are the best in the business. You guys run a fantastic tournament, and I will miss the time that I've got to spend with you guys the last few years. To the guys at Eastern Washington Bass, you are the most fun group of anglers that a guy could ever be around, and I am super lucky to even get to be or call some of you guys friends. I will still fish the opens with you guys, and if you think about switching your single tournaments to Sundays, I'll fish them all. My days off, I can do whatever I want to. So if you guys decide you want to move those singles events to Sundays, I'll be back in it. But I won't fish I won't be fishing the Northwest Trail next year. It's not an indefinite suspension of the tournament stuff, but at least for now, until I can get some stuff figured out and try and make this a little bit easier, I am going to step aside and take a year off and kind of re-examine a little bit everything, right? So anyways, guys, oh, and then I guess the last thing before I go, what does this mean for the YouTube channel? It means more content, right? So I can spend my days off now filming, taking the boys and the girls out, taking the wife out, mom, filming a bunch of different fun episodes. So I think it'll help the YouTube channel grow a little bit more, and I can focus some of my energy around that. And I'm really excited for that because I do enjoy bringing these videos to you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoy them as well. And I am extremely humbled by all of the people that come up to me during tournaments, when I'm at Dick's Sporting Goods or wherever I am, recognizing me from the YouTube channel. I think it's a pretty cool thing, especially when my channel isn't very big. But to know that there are guys out there that appreciate the stuff that I'm putting out, that take something away from it, and then take the time to say, hey, I know you, and then talk to me for 30 minutes about the channel or about life or whatever. So it's pretty humbling. It's pretty cool. So there's a lot more on the books for the channel this year. I'm excited for that. So yeah, guys, that's it. We'll bring up the next video here in a couple of days. I'm going to try and start uploading every couple of days now. So in the meantime, guys, tight lines. We'll see ya. Thanks again.